right, so I've got a little topic of discussion already pre-planned. Not like, you know, hours in advance. I was just kind of scrolling Instagram, and I stumbled across a video. I stumbled across a little reel, a little fitness reel, nothing crazy. Now, this is no JPG, no Jeff Nippard, but it was just a character. And the basic argument of the video was you shouldn't do assisted reps past failure, because if you already trained to failure, then that's enough. That's and the guy was like, oh, well, you've used your maximum motor recruitment. Like he was saying all the classic like fitness or science-based lifter jargon. We know the deal. And I'm this is not like a black and white argument. Of course this guy is right. A set to like perfect, insane, nasty fucking failure, in some instances, that's all you need. There's no reason to do anything else. But a lot of the times I feel like true failure, it's not even something you can actually achieve, because if you were to do I'm not going to do a whole study here, nor do I know any, but your actual like strength output, set to set, lift to lift, day to day, it varies so much, not only just because of like your actual physical differences on a day by day basis, be it your rest, recovery, like overall like level of hydration and food intake and everything else, but also by your mood. Like I feel as though it's a little it's like training to failure has kind of, I don't want to say bastardized, that's not the right word, but it's become a trivial term that, like, it's so easy. It's like, oh, I take every set to failure. How easy do you really think training to failure is? I'm not trying to be mean here. Like how easy is it to legitimately train to failure? It's not that fucking easy. And depending on the movement and really depending on the lifter, failure isn't going to be determined by, oh, I've reached my maximum motor recruitment. Failure it's going to really just be determined by who's got the most fucking grit and determination to deal with the pain. Like let's say I'm sitting on the hamstring curl machine and I'm doing slow squeezing reps. That's kind of one that really comes to mind. Or, oh no, leg extension especially. Yeah, leg extension is really good. When it comes to something like a heavy compound set, you may be a little bit closer to right. If I'm sitting in front of the squat rack or the Smith machine as of late, and I've got like 5, however many plates on the side of it, and I do 10 reps, and I fail the last one, and I have to re-rack it on the hooks, yeah, that's enough. You're not going to catch me have somebody help with like 3 more assisted ones. That's going to be it. So in that instance, yeah, a set to failure, sweet. But on something like leg extensions, that's actually hitting real failure. It takes, before you get there, the pain threshold and the uncomfortability of squeezing your fucking quads, that's really what's gonna fucking end somebody's set. So where's failure on leg extensions if you can do 20 reps? Let's say you took 2 guys, same quads, same fucking genetics, same everything, same strength. They have the potential to do the exact same set. And one guy is seriously locked in the zone, highly motivated at this given moment, and his music's going crazy. He is going to get closer to failure than the guy who's a little bit more relaxed. And maybe not so, he's a little bit more distracted, not so into it. So that's where, what I'm trying to say, the fact that failure is like so difficult to even achieve, and even taking it one step further, you have to understand, you can't actually totally get every drop of strength out of any given muscle at any given time, right? Because at least I kind of feel like if I finish a set of straight bar pushdowns, and sure, I've reached a point where I can't do another rep with a crazy heavy weight. If I drop the weight, that just means I've got a little bit more juice left in the tank. So I really just, What I'm trying to get at is I don't want anybody to take the gas off on their training, you know. So heavy compound lifts, I think, are the ones where those should be taken to legit failure, right? You reach a point where you cannot complete one rep with reasonable form. If I'm benching and I can only do 10 reps on the Smith machine and it was a good heavy set, I'm going to rack it and say, oh, that's enough. That was a good quality set. I did a reasonable weight with a lot of tension. I can't do another one. Good. That's good. But with lighter sets, squeezing sets, kind of especially, like if I were to move on to like a cable fly or a pec deck or something, and I'm really just trying to squeeze and get a really deep stretch and everything, then failure's a bit more ambiguous. So that's where adding extra supersets and adding little drop sets and assisted reps, either self-assisted or you got one of your buddies with you pulling the weight up on the on the concentric, then I think that's gonna fucking add to the intensity of the workout, which overall I can at least 9 out of 10 times guarantee is gonna improve your pump, which I think also kind of is a good sign you had a reasonable fucking lift. Then you're gonna go home, reap the benefits of having a seriously stimulating workout, and you'll actually fucking grow. So this is where I don't love the guys where they say, well, I mean, this is just a very specific instance, but the guy, just take your set to failure and that's enough. Dude, it's not failure is wherever you want it to be. I'm not inside of your mind like the fucking guys in Inside Out, and I can see like, oh shit, dude, you've got 3 more. Why are you failing now? Or, nobody knows. Nobody really knows. This whole workout, I could pretend I was training to failure, and I could have like 10 reps left in the tank, and I could just like, oh, it's really burning. I could just. It's more prevalent than you would think, and it's a little tricky to fucking pick up on. But I kind of feel like I feel like a sleight of hand artist, because the longer you work out, you can actually sort of develop a little bit of an eye for just how hard somebody's really going on his sets. Because I can look at somebody's set and look at the tempo of the reps, and I can see like, okay, this guy's on track to do a 25 rep set of pushdowns, and then I watch him end it at 15, and he kind of like out of the blue pretends to hit failure. Ugh, So it's the only person who's really watching, and the only person who really knows if you're pushing it to the limit, that's you. And that's you don't need anybody else, because if you legitimately want serious gains, if you want to make legitimate stimulating progress in the gym, so when you go home, eat your food, have a good fucking good night's rest, and come back bigger and stronger, and you get to fucking reap the benefits of getting on track to being a big mofo, then you don't have to prove the training to anybody else. You should just know this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it because it's going to give me the goals that I want to achieve later on down the line. But what irks me the most is seeing, and both in person and on like social media clips and mainly just reels, like fucking TikTok, Instagram, everything. What I hate to see is the guys where they want it. Like they want, when they look at a Chris Bumstead, when they look at not even the fucking, actual bodybuilder, even just big natural dudes, when they look at somebody big in the fitness industry, they're like, okay, I want to be that big. Not even the fitness industry part, like somebody who just is big, muscularly developed, they're a solid lifter. They're dyed in the wool for real, hardcore. They want to be that. And you can kind of tell by the way they're posting and everything else, but the training doesn't reflect it. And it's too true. It's too fucking true, right? Everybody want to be a bodybuilder. That's supposed to be a back and forth. You say the second part, I say the first part. You can't see it. Somebody drew a dick on the on that construction sign. That's kind of funny for me. But that's all I'm getting at. The harder you train, the more stimulation your workouts will give you. And then when you go home and all your ducks are in order in terms of your sleep and diet, you will make gains. It's as simple as that. Now, it's not easy. I've been saying this a lot, and I really like the phrase. It's not easy, but it is simple. So plan for me now at a cool 601 is to get a nasty arm pump by the power vested in me from the 443 grams of carbs I've eaten so far today, the 128 grams of fat, and the 80 grams of protein. I looked at my little macro tracker app right before I started this so I could say the exact calorie count. So that puts me at about 3,093, I think, to be exact, which is a bit more than halfway towards my full day's calorie intake, which is pretty much perfect for me, because when it comes to the amount of food that you've got in your system, it really is going to affect your workout in a good way. So if I've got I mean, fuck, dude, even just 450 grams of carbs nearly, I'm, even when I'm fucking getting dressed, looking at myself in the mirror, I can tell I was a little bit extra bigger now than earlier this morning, because over the course of the entire day, I've basically kind of carved myself up. And being in a full state is pretty much the best when it comes to your performance in the gym. Now, I won't say it's the best for your looks per se, because of course, when you're fucking dialed, lean, skin and bones shredded, that's going to look the craziest. But being full, carbs, hydrated, electrolytes, everything else, well rested as well to top it off, those are the best lifts. You're big, you're strong, you're pumped as hell, and you enjoy it. So make use of it. If you're bulking up, I'm seeing videos of guys where they're saying like, all right, I've been bulking for 3 months, I better start locking in now. Ooh, come on, man. If you're gonna put yourself in a scenario where you're gaining excess body fat, which, I mean, it's no fun, that's a chore for later, you're basically giving yourself a task when you try to diet down, months in the future. If you're already, locked into doing that, then you really need to make use of it, because it's, there's a few steps before you really get the gains out of a serious bulk and then a dieting phase afterward. So of course, if you never lock into a bulk and you never diet down hard, and then you'll probably just keep gaining, slow process but still legit, nothing to be scoffed at, of course. But if you go halfway, bulking wise, cutting wise, then what happens, too unfortunately, is you say you're bulking, really you just gain a little bit of body fat and minimal muscle. And then if you don't really go hard dieting down, then you don't even get to show whatever muscle you had underneath. So it's don't stop halfway. Come on, lock it in. Even if that means jumping from a 10% body fat where you've got cool abs to a 20% and you feel like relatively slobbish, it's all for the greater good. It's all for the greater good of the long-term, legitimate fucking hypertrophic gains. AKA bigger arms, bigger chest, bigger legs, bigger everything. Bigger freaking everything. So, nothing else to chat about there. I think let's just get started with presumably triceps. But I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I'll change it up, do biceps first, and time will tell. And for you, that time is about 1 second. So here's the plan. I'm gonna make very good use out of the fact that since my triceps are not pumped yet, I can squeeze them incredibly hard at the bottom. I say this a lot, and if you've ever had a really good tricep pump, you know what I'm talking about. But next time you're at the gym, maybe give it a try. You might notice, or you might not, I mean, whatever. But when I'm fresh, unpumped, I can really squeeze and like completely straighten my tricep out as far as it fucking goes. And if I wait until later in the lift to try to do a squeezing set with the rope, when my triceps are already pumped, I can't get that complete fucking extension. And I think part of it is to do with the fact that like my tricep is kind of running into itself because it's got so much blood in it. But let's just throw around half the stack, which is about as heavy as I can go while still really squeezing. So let me switch to a little bit of a more hype song than the less I know, the better. Not bad, but not really hype inducing. Oh. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Oh. One or two more at least. Same style, same everything. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. One more. One more and then some dips, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Holy crap. All right. Let's get some dip action. Similarly controlled to the rope, but much heavier. So full sack for as many as I can get with a full extension and a squeeze, and partials at the end. Oh, yeah. One more. Yeah. Okay. All right, I lied. These are actually too nasty. One more. One more of these. One of the boys give me some help here. So I'll go as far as I can. Totally solo. Extend all the way, back all the way. And once I get trouble with that last few inches, that's his cue to give me a little help. Fully extend for probably, I don't know, 5, 6 more to be determined. That's good. Woo. Ah. Oh, that's perfect. Saved. Overhead with the rope, bent over. I love this movement. It's a new staple of the tricep day. Yeah, one more, at least. Okay. Well, I probably will. Okay. Wow. All right. I think just one more set of something and triceps are done. All right. One nasty set with the easy bar will be all she wrote, I think. Actually, no, well, we'll find out, but I'm pretty sure this will be peak pump. And if these are nasty, that's okay. My goal is blood flow. Okay. Let's start curling. Dumbbells. Instead of my typical dirty, nasty, heavy dumbbell set to start, I gotta change it up. And if you know you have like a really strong pattern to your workouts, I think it's a good move. So instead of starting with dumbbell, let's start with some single arm cable. Not too heavy, and this will be an alternating style. 5 here, drop it, 5, 5, 5, 5, kind of just back and forth for as much as I can handle. And that'll be the set. Which, I mean, I don't mind some funky rep schemes, but don't get too crazy with it. This is kind of the craziest I'll get.
The only thing you're underage is you know what? That's actually, and about how to do it.
That'll be good. So, more of a reaching a certain threshold of fatigue kind of approach with that one. But let's let me think. I'm not sure I want to repeat that. Heavier for this one.
Oh yeah, yeah. 315 on a bamboo bar. Oh wow. It's like
Okay. All right. Let's grab some dumbbells. Let's make proper use of the 55s. I'm not done yet. I just gotta make it a fucking rest pause. My lower back is extra fucking pumped just from holding the cables. Jesus. Come on. Okay. let's put one of these back. We only need one for the next set. Starting with the right bicep, since my right bicep is a little bit behind. But here's the plan. And this really exemplifies what I was talking about in the car. I'm going to failure and beyond. So I'm going to get to a point where, I mean, the first 8, however many reps, I'll be able to get all the way to the top, full contraction, full everything. But once I get to a point where I can only curl it to like here-ish, that's my cue to say, all right, let's do some assistance. And I'm going to help pull the weight all the way to the top. I'm still going to try to squeeze, of course. Then I'm going to let go. And it's all bicep on the way down, at least as much as I can muster. And in terms of like the concentration of intensity, this is where it's at, especially if it's just you. You know, if you're doing like preachers and you can have somebody assist you with the easy bar, it could probably be a similar level of fucking squeezability or any assisted curl. But if it's just you, I think this is one of the most intense sets you can do because you're pretty much locked into place. You don't have to worry about fucking standing up and squeezing your traps because like when you're curling anything kind of heavy, a lot of muscles are coming into fucking play. I mean, your abs to stabilize you because you're doing one side at a time. It's not like totally balanced. It's kind of a lot. But this, everything, there's no moving parts except for this. So I've got no excuse not to go fucking bananas. Fuck. Holy shit. Okay. It's nearly the end. I can tell based on how fatigued they are and how pumped they are. I'm nearly done with enough volume biceps. But part of me wants to do one more finisher. I've got a plan. Something I've done before. So if you guess right, yippee. So, did you guess right? Nothing was the next set. No, I was, I waited a second, but here's my logic, you know, it's not like, you know, I did 4 sets and in my mind, I'm like, oh, the 4 is the magic number. No, it's more like the fatigue that I felt at the end of that set of bicep curls, or set of preachers to be more exact, was such that I felt like if I did any more, it might kind of bleed into the realm of just fatigue and not actual like growth-based stimulation. So that's my cue. And I do not mind making this a tricep bias lift anyway, because my triceps need more work than my biceps if you're looking at my arm as a system on its fucking own. But let's run through a couple here and try to maximize the freak factor with some hard flexing. So I was just talking to somebody and he was telling me like, or he asked me if I like triceps or biceps more. And I had to say triceps in terms of, like, he was like, what do you like getting pumped up more? Because triceps really add a lot to your fucking arms. I mean, having a tricep pump right now, even just a residual one from the rest of, because it's kind of faded since I did biceps, but a tricep pump really adds to something like a front lat spread because it just fucking thickens you up on your widest part, right? Having pumped biceps in a lat spread, it's cool, but it doesn't add to your overall like size and fucking, what do you call that? Frame, in a way. But triceps definitely fucking do. Oh, oh my goodness. Let's see what else. Classic crucifix. Nasty. Rather nasty. Then what's let's take a few steps forward here. Oh. So, I call that a good arm day. I call that a nasty ass, reasonably hefty, hard squeezing, slightly tricep focused, bicep pumping, fear inducing, abominable pump. That'll be the title, that full sentence. So let's get in the car. All done. That was good. That was good. That was an arm pump where there was no chance I wasn't gonna look at it right after posing down, because there is something about seeing yourself in a picture or just in like the in like a posing video versus seeing yourself really just in the mirror. Just a little bit of a different kind of situation. But no, speaking of fucking speaking of little Instagram reels, I saw this one guy. He was you know, he was kind of, I'm sure he just went to the gym and there was like some high school kids who were annoying him with like how loud they were being or something. But the guy was basically like, all you fucking young guys, when you go to the gym, check your ego at the door. Check your ego at the door. Some people are trying to better themselves. Yeah, the first thing I saw, the first thing I thought when I saw him say that was like, yeah, I checked my ego at the door. It's still there. I gotta hit a fucking arm day. And it's when I saw it, it's a little counterintuitive because I mean, the basic gist of the video, I guess, was he was trying to say like, you know, people are coming to the gym to like have a fun, relaxed workout. You know, we don't need you, you know, coming in here lunking. Oh, he said in exact words, he's like, you know, you don't have to walk around with your shoulders out, walking around like a gorilla. And there's an argument to be made. There's an argument to be made there. You know, sometimes people take the lunking a little bit too far, but you're taking away a very powerful aspect of the gym, and that's your fucking level of effort. How are you going to expect somebody to really push it effort-wise if you don't want them to be kind of fucking, you know, excited and passionate about it? Now, I'm not saying start screaming during every set. I've seen that before, where somebody's literally every set top of their lungs screaming. Yeah, he kind of got shut down a little bit. The front desk girl had to tell him to chill out. But that's not what I'm talking about. But you know, when it comes to actually just doing your sets like as hard as you can, don't be concerned about somebody who's like, oh, you know, quit making all those faces, quit making little bits of sounds. Hey, if you don't want anybody to be grunting in your gym or fucking actually pushing themselves, go to a Planet Fitness. You know, go somewhere that's a little bit more kind of relaxed in its basic overall kind of vibe. Like this guy said this outside of a Gold's Gym. What do you expect, man? You know? So it just kind of irked me a little bit, because if you're, and I'm sure he was talking about kind of a younger guy or a younger crew. You know, if they're excited about the gym, yeah, dude, fucking go hard. But do not take that purely as like an ego lifting defense, because I've seen it like firsthand right there. It's not cool. It's really not awesome. I mean, I've spotted guys where they were trying to like bench way more than they knew they could, and of course I had to pick it up off of them after they got kind of smushed, or like squat dudes where there was no chance this guy was going to get the weight, and like they got immediately crumpled by it, like things like that. Come on, right? You gotta back off a touch. Somehow you have to figure out like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be trying to do this, right? So with a lot of things, and this is kind of how I think of a lot of things, it's like typically the middle ground is, well, not typically, for the fucking most part, the middle ground is where you're going to find the sweet spot. So when it comes to a gym's environment, I mean fuck, this is from this perspective of me, like a full-on gym rat, diehard pump addict. So I've got a little bit of bias, but I don't want the gym to be totally relaxed. I don't want the gym to have a chill vibe, right? I want there to be guys fucking going hard, guys and girls. I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater here. Come on, I got the 4% viewership. I know you guys are representing. But on the opposite side of things, I don't need the gym to be like a West Side barbell. That's that's just not a vibe I'd be going for. Somewhere kind of in the middle, where everybody's killing it, pushing themselves hard, asking for spots, getting some assisted reps, right? Really going, at least approaching their limit, making progress. That's what I want to see. So half of that was just me kind of dogging on this guy, because on the scale of things, I'm a little bit more ego lifter centric, because on the opposite side of that, so ego lifting on its own, right, doing more weight than you can actually handle, stupid, right? That's my stance there. That is not awesome. There's no point, especially not in a bodybuilding context. If I want big biceps, I'm going to sit there and do the 55s. I'm not going to try to curl the 120s. It's it's not going to do anything for you. But on the other side of the spectrum is absolutely lackadaisical, fucking just going through the motions exercising, and I probably hate that a little bit more, And this is my opinion, of course. But if getting back to what I was even saying on the way here, it's the guys who, they want gains. They came to the gym. They're paying for their membership. They buy pre-workout. They've got straps. They bought a fancy pants belt. You look the part, but you're not really playing it. Everybody can talk the talk about lifting, but the results will speak for themselves, which I think is, kind of a fucking cool thing about it, is there really is no such thing as a sleeper build when it comes to the gym, at least in a bodybuilding kind of muscle-oriented context. Powerlifting, way different. There's definitely some sleeper build fucking strong men, like guys who are fucking 140 benching like 500. I mean, it's been done. But actual kind of muscle gain, if that's the goal, then whether or not you're on track to that goal is going to show. So if you know somebody, and if you know that you yourself are not really on track to where you want to be, and I don't mean you have to fucking be an Olympia caliber build. That's crazy talk. Not everybody should be an Olympia bodybuilder. No, obviously. But if you know your goal is to get a little bit bigger and get stronger and make reasonable, legitimate gains, then you need to see results on a short time frame. I'm talking 2 months, like you now versus you in 2 months. There should be a noticeable difference, be it strength, size, leanness, whatever. Some of those numbers have to change. And if they haven't, then your training and your eating and your sleeping and your recovering is simply not to par with making progress. So that's the challenge, man. That's the hill you're trying to roll your boulder up, Sisyphus style, right? I mean, the longer you work out, the harder it is to make gains. That's the nature of it. But the longer you work out, the smarter you'll get about working out, the more dedicated, presumably, as long as you're actually getting after it, and the more you can kind of optimize your day's routine in such a way that you'll be making more stimulating lifts every day, so you'll kind of counteract that difficulty with getting smarter. I mean, every time you go up a grade in school, all the classes get more difficult, but you also get smarter in the process. So that's the nature of it, So gamifying things is a really good, well, I think it's at least a pretty solid fucking, approach to goal setting. So, in the same sense, I mean, you're not gonna get to the final four of Pokemon Diamond if you didn't sit there and grind for a while first, right? The grinding is the kind of back end side of things, and the fun part at the end is what you get to show off. Not that showing off is the point, but you think about it like that. If you don't have to be the most, well, you need some dedication. What's the word? You don't have to be the most gifted genetic phenom to make it gains. That's not the case at all. So if you take anyone, and this is what I really try to say a lot, you can take anybody from any age, reasonable, of course. I mean, I don't really think, I'm not so certain a 10-year-old kid should be doing weight training like a bodybuilder. It's, but let's just say like 16 and older. If you take anybody, put them through a workout routine, or I mean, have them put themselves through a workout routine, better yet, right? 1 hour of working out per day, take a rest day when necessary, do regular lifts, nothing, maybe like 4 sets of Smith machine bench or chest press. I mean, a lot of these machines, you don't even need any crazy technique to do. Like with a barbell bench, it's a bit trickier. You got to balance the weight. It's kind of a skill issue there. But if you're on a chest press machine, you don't have to worry about your balance. You just give it a good ass fucking press. So for anybody to be taken through a strict workout routine, 1 hour after school, after work, after whatever, or before work, rise and grind style, if you do that for a year, you will have made noticeable, like, not just to yourself, to anybody else, progress. Like, you'll be bigger. You're gonna be fucking beefier. That's, I mean, we all hear the stories, somebody in your school or whatever started working out over the summer, and they came back fucking beefier. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, assuming you work out a lot. I'm sure you have in some way or another. But that's a pretty motivating thing. Maybe not in the best, maybe not in the most, like, enlightened kind of way, because you're kind of just pleasing other people. But the first time somebody tells you, like, dude, have you been working out? I mean, I've said this on numerous occasions. You may as well just take and crack cocaine. Oh, crap. I have been working out. Whoa, and they notice. Oh, I feel kind of cool now. It's a pretty good ego boost in, I'd say, a pretty reasonable, wholesome way. So it's I've really been saying this a lot, and I can't stop saying it. It's not hard. No. It is hard, but it's not complicated. That's what I've been saying a lot. So the grunt work of coming up with how to work out and what you need to do, it's all been done. People have been making crazy gains for years, hundreds of fucking years, thousands of fucking years. I'm talking Greece. I'm talking the OG Olympics, and it's fucking simple. It's not even a question. If you ask somebody who has no knowledge about working out at all, and you said, hey, so if I work out and lift weights for an hour a day for the next year, what do you think's gonna happen? And it's not rhetorical. Wait, no. It is rhetorical. There is a fucking answer. You're gonna get big. So it's not a question of if. Well, the only question of if is if you're gonna stick to it. And I feel kind of weird because it's like I'm telling you to make your own gains, which you'll get to enjoy later. But the guys who are doing that already, they don't need me to say that. So sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit too, not really, but sometimes I feel like I don't talk to the guys who are seriously deep into working out like years and years. And I'm kind of talking to more of the beginner audience. Like, dude, just fucking keep grinding, get after it. You'll start to learn everything. If you feel kind of nervous and uncomfortable in the gym yet, that'll go away. The longer you do it, the better you'll get at it, everything else. And I can't stress it enough, man. Especially having gone through it. I mean, I remember being a fucking 160 pounder. I had my Mickey Mouse tank on. Like, oh, I'm going hard. We've all been there. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that anytime I would go to a new gym, I'd be like, I'd actually be kind of like mean mug people in a way. Not like just general people, but like anybody that was pretty big, because I was like, oh, I want to establish my presence here. Or as soon as we start talking, it's totally chill. It's just just a meathead kind of mentality. But, you know, I can't stress it enough. At least for me, from my perspective, working out, locking in the diet, really focusing on the training, trying to optimize everything, and all the in-betweens that comes along with it has been a pretty awesome move. And that's, you know, that's all I can really say there. So, plan now is to go home, have half a pound of ground beef with, oh, I like the red hot buffalo sauce, but I forgot I used all of it earlier. Let's do some barbecue sauce or something. So, I think half a pound of ground beef, and then carbs of some sort. Carbs of some sort. Potentially some instant rice, potentially potatoes, potentially a pack of ramen. A little bit high in the sodium, but I've been drinking enough water that's not gonna mess with me or anything. To be determined. But yeah, we're locking it in. 5 big ones. 5 big ones. We kind of eased it up. So now it's time to really start chowing down. So another 2,000 calories in between me and bedtime, and I'm sure that will disappear rather quickly. My appetite has yet to diminish, which is a very good sign for me, because I've got a couple more months of serious food intake ahead of me. So let's just get after it. So I'll see you tomorrow for, well, I'm not exactly sure. My adductors are still destroyed from my last leg day, so I will decide. Because I mean, tomorrow is supposed to be a leg day, that's what I have planned. But if tomorrow comes and my legs are still sore, and I decide I need one more day of recovery for them, then maybe I don't know if I'll make it a straight up rest day, but maybe I'll throw something in. Maybe I'll throw something in instead. But assuming I get assuming. When I get all my food in tonight and I get a good night's rest, I know my legs are going to be much more recovered than they are at this given moment. So I guess that's just for me to decide tomorrow. But how long's it been since I called you out for not doing your cardio, Jack? Yeah, by name, right? Pick up the phone, I'm talking to you specifically. Dude, oh, you know, YouTube actually updated their analytics. You know, it shows me viewership by country. It shows me like gender demographics and everything else, and it also shows me who's doing their cardio and who doesn't. And frankly, these numbers are kind of astonishing. It's still in the beta phase, so I'm not going to say them specifically, but let me just give you a hint. Less people than you would expect are actually getting their 30 minutes. Yeesh. So, take with that information what you will. But I'm going to get some food, get some good night's rest, and train again tomorrow. A perfect loop.